Hey, I'm Tim, and I am in my kitchen here for Pampered Chef, and I want to show you 5 simple, easy things that I do that make my weeknight dinners so much more delicious. I've been in my kitchen a lot recently. You know, just like everyone else, I'm cooking more and more for my family, but on top of that, I'm cooking for work, which means I've been thinking a lot about cooking. And I think I've developed what I would call the grand unified theory of cooking. This is big. And you know, it kind of goes like this. Think of it as like 4 quadrants, and there are 2 lines. At the top of one line, you have things that are so simple. And at the bottom of the line, you have kind of a lot of work. Then on the second line, you've got things that are amazing, so delicious. And then on the other side of that line, you have, meh, okay. Now, there are things in one quadrant that are a lot of work, but so delicious. Things like making your own sourdough bread, making homemade pasta. You know, things that are awesome, but a lot of work. Now, I love those things, but I can't do those every single day of the week. Then on another side, on that other quadrant, you have things that are kind of a lot of work and kind of okay. On over there, that might be things like, you know, curing your own bacon. You got your nitrites and you're curing them and you're smoking them. In the end, it just tastes like bacon. Or, okay, homemade ketchup. Listen, ketchup has been figured out. Stop making homemade ketchup. It's just not that great. If you go to a restaurant and they say house-made ketchup, you know what they end up making? They make tomato sauce. Ketchup is perfect. Don't bother making your own ketchup. They have figured it out. Not worth it. Now, of course, you got that quadrant over there that's so easy and kind of tastes, man, that's like fast food and takeout. We're not going to worry about that. What we want to focus on is that top right quadrant. Those are the things that you have to live in on a weeknight. Those are the things that you can do even if you're phoning it in, even if you're trying to just make sure your family doesn't starve. These are the things that I want to focus on today. We're gonna make a really simple dinner tonight. Meat, starch, veg. You know, it's a kind of dinner that everyone has to make every now and then. We're gonna do boneless, skinless chicken breast, roasted broccoli, and I've got a little bit of white rice cooking. The first thing that I want to talk about that makes roasted broccoli so much better is preheating your pan. I mean, it's that easy. You gotta preheat your oven. You're gonna put a pan in there eventually, but when you put your pan in the oven while it's preheating, the pan will be hot, so when the broccoli hits the pan, there'll be all that sizzling, all that browning. It'll be extra delicious, extra crispy, and it's so good. The next thing I want to talk about that makes every single meal, every single ingredient so much more delicious is salt. Now, we've all had those nights where you've made dinner and something kind of just didn't taste that great. You know what it needed? It needed salt. Broccoli doesn't really taste much like broccoli. It's because you didn't add enough salt. So the way that I look at it and the way that I tell people to salt is to salt early and salt often. This chicken breast, I'm gonna salt it the very first thing I do. And really, if I have enough time, I'm gonna give it lots of time to sit with that salt. Because salt is one of the only things that can actually penetrate protein. You know, I love marinades just like everyone else. I really like adding some rubs and everything to my chicken. But the fact is, that rub, that marinade, the garlic, all that's gonna sit on the surface of your chicken. Salt is what's gonna penetrate into the chicken and make it taste so much better. So if you can salt your chicken or your steak or your pork chops the night before, do it. If you have a few hours before you're gonna make dinner, salt the chicken. It'll just make everything taste so much better. I'm gonna salt my broccoli as well, but I'm just gonna coat it in a little oil first so that the salt can kind of move around. And this will also help brown the broccoli when I throw it on that preheated stone. So what people don't realize about salt is that it's actually an active ingredient. It's one of those things that will change your food when it goes into it. So for broccoli, for example, the salt will penetrate the broccoli, draw out the moisture, which is really important because water doesn't taste like anything. And adding salt will make my broccoli taste more like broccoli. All right, my oven is preheated, so I'm gonna throw my broccoli onto that preheated pan. Yeah, you can just hear it sizzle. So good. Now let's talk about the next thing that I always do to make my food extra delicious is searing. Searing is more than just trying to cook your food, it's actually adding flavor. As the chicken browns in this pan, it's gonna totally change. You're gonna get more savory notes. It's gonna taste more like a roasted, meaty, hearty chicken. It's gonna be way better than if I just threw it right in the oven without doing anything. I've got my pan preheating over a medium-high heat. I'm gonna add some oil to the pan. It's about a tablespoon or so. I'm gonna let that preheat until the oil starts moving around the pan a little bit looser and it starts shimmering a little. All right, so the pan is hot, oil is shimmering, so now it's time to put our chicken into the pan. Now the key to getting a good sear is really simple. Leave it alone. You don't have to shake the pan or shimmy it or anything like that. Just let the pan do the work. I'm using a stainless steel pan because I really like the sear that I get on this chicken, and I'll have a little extra browning that's left in the pan that I can make a quick pan sauce out of. And the chicken is ready. Got some nice browning on here. And you can see all of this browning, all of this char, it's gonna make the chicken more savory, taste more meaty and more delicious. Now I'm just gonna throw it in the oven to finish cooking. While my chicken and broccoli are cooking in the oven, I wanna talk about the last two things that really live in that sweet spot for me. It's fresh herbs and acid. In this case, lemon juice. Now, it can also be some maybe pickled red onions that you used a little white wine vinegar for, or just a vinaigrette that you pour over things. It's not really there to make anything taste sour, it's just there to brighten up your food. I have my rice that is finished cooking, and I'm gonna add some fresh parsley and lemon juice into that. Now, it might seem strange to put, something like vinegar or lemon juice into rice, but it's actually super common. I mean, no sushi rice is complete without a little spritz of rice wine vinegar. And you don't necessarily need for it to taste like lemon, you just want to add that brightness, that freshness to it. You just stir that in first, and then I'll add some fresh herbs. And you know what? Actually, I have been growing some extra green onion from a green onion that I chopped earlier. And now this boring white rice, something completely new and fresh and delicious. And you can do this with a lot of different herbs. Maybe it's Taco Tuesday and you want to add some fresh cilantro and lime juice to your rice. There's all kinds of different things that you can do to just take a really simple side, make it just a little better. Have you ever seen a boneless, skinless chicken breast look this good? It's all about getting that great sear. Now, if you have a little extra time, you should definitely make a pan sauce from all the stuck-on bits in there. It's really simple, but that's for another video. Man. So I like to cut into my food while I'm serving it for two reasons. I think it just looks nicer on the plate, but also I know that it's cooked perfectly because I can just see that beautiful, juicy chicken breast right there. Then we'll throw on our roasty, toasty broccoli here. All of those browned bits, that caramelization, so good. Meat, starch, veg night. Doesn't have to be boring. Having delicious food doesn't always mean you have to spend hours in the kitchen. If you remember these 5 simple tips, I guarantee you will fall in love with the food that you're already making every night. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you next time.